What is going on, guys? I want to do another video on the Koeningsegg CCGT because I feel like this car deserves another look. Now, I know it might not be the best touring car to a lot of players, but I do feel like this car deserves another look. If you guys are wondering about using something different, or you want another car that can compete in the summits and all that, that's actually good enough with handling and speed, I feel like the CCGT is going to be a really good option. Now, obviously, the Lamborghini is a really good car. I mean, this thing is amazing as well, and we all know the Renault RSL 1's probably the best overall touring car in the entire game. Now, I was also thinking about doing some type of comparison video in the future. Let me know if you guys actually want to see that with the RSL 1 versus CCGT. Maybe I'll even throw in the Lamborghini in that video as well, just to see how this thing compares. I would basically say these are probably the best two touring cars in the game, but for some weird reason, I've been running the CCGT way more than everything else in pretty much every single race. Now, sure, this car might be a little bit slower, even though they have almost the exact same top speed at 264 miles an hour. It probably comes down to the overall handling and the speed when handling with these vehicles on what really sets them apart, but I really do think the CCGT is definitely worth a look. Now, if you guys might have been wondering, this is the build I've pretty much ran on this vehicle the entire time. I've actually never changed this. When the car first came out, this was the build I put on it, and I basically left it like this since then, and I'm still insanely impressed every time I race this car pretty much anywhere. But I'm going to take this into one of the new events that released this season, and I'm going to talk about this car a little bit more. Now, jumping into the new touring car event here with the CCGT, there's a few things I wanted to go over because I really do feel like this car deserves another look. Now, I'm sure many players have been looking at the leaderboards recently and actually noticing the CCGT's been pretty much taking those over, which I would say is for good reasoning. The second I jumped into this race with this car, I was like, oh man, this thing has a lot of potential. I have to test it out more to really see what it can do. Now, is this car going to actually beat the RSL 1? Now, to be honest, in some ways it probably can, depending on how you guys race this thing and the lines you take in a lot of these events. But I do feel like the RSL 1's going to pretty much own, well, this entire class for a while. Even the Lamborghini Gallardo is probably going to own it as well because both of those cars are amazing. But having another vehicle like the CCGT in there is honestly really good for variety because we all know maybe you want to mix it up a little bit or use a different vehicle in some of these events. I've honestly been there. I've been running the RSL 1 for a while, and I was like, you know what? I want to test something else out and really try a different vehicle. So I ended up jumping into the CCGT last season and actually only using this vehicle in pretty much every summit that allowed me to, and it was honestly one of the best things I've done. Now, sure, this car might be a little bit slower in some ways around turns and all that, and or to shifting if you guys are in manual, because I noticed the RSL 1 is probably going to be a little bit faster when it comes to shifting because there's really no delay at all to that vehicle, but I did notice the CCGT is going to be pretty dang similar to it. Now, I would also say most of these cars have insanely similar handling in pretty much every way. Now, some cars will definitely be better than others when it comes to actually turning and all that, and also with speed as well, because that definitely makes a big impact on a lot of these vehicles. I noticed the CCGT seems to do a really good job. When I've been testing this car out in a lot of these races, I have been just really impressed overall with how this vehicle is used, and well, it seems like a lot of players have been jumping into it recently as well, especially jumping into Season 6. Maybe they want to mix it up a little bit, or they just don't want to use the Renault anymore, which I completely understand because I've been wanting to change it up a little bit too by really using a different vehicle, and it seems like the Koenigsegg's a really good option for this, guys. Not only is this car insanely good overall, I mean, the speed on this thing is going to be insanely close to where that car is as well. Plus, the handling on this thing honestly just seems insanely top tier to me, even from testing it out more and driving it more often. I have been loving the CCGT in pretty much every way. Now, I'm sure many players can argue that the Renault will still be better, which honestly it most likely will be in some ways, but getting through the right racing lines on these tracks and all that, and or using it more, I think this car can really shine a lot more, and I really do feel like this thing has a lot of potential in the future and all that with different races and really to see what actually comes out. Let me know what you guys think about this car in the comments below, and I'm looking forward to testing it out more. I might end up doing like a comparison video on this and the Renault. Let me know in the comments below if you guys do want to see that. I just feel like the CCGT deserves more love, and this car is definitely insanely good. I would even go to say this is probably top 3 in my favorite for the overall cars in this class. But anyway, thank you all again so much for watching.